best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
We welcome you to it this Friday, October 27th, 2023. I am Jason Page. Sam Yarnell will be by in about 15 minutes. Page versus the Prince, our Week 8 NFL picks. Also a recap of the Thursday night football game. Bills getting a win at home against the Buccaneers. And I got some thoughts on LeBron James after the Lakers get their first win of the season on Thursday night in typical LeBron fashion. But we started out in Major League Baseball. The World Series kicks off tonight. We are pumped. Rangers and Diamondbacks. Who could have seen it coming? Put your hand down. You're a liar. Bob Nightengale's not a liar. USA Today senior MLB writer. And Bob, we got to start there. What were the chances? Well, there's no way before the season. And this is why sports is so great. It's the greatest, reality show out there because nobody could have seen this coming.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams that were laughingstocks 2 years ago. I mean, the Diamondbacks lost 110 games. Rangers lost 102 games. It made more sense for the Rangers. I mean, they beefed up in the offseason, spent a lot of money last 2 years in free agency, hired a Hall of Fame manager, Bruce Bochy. Diamondbacks are the stunning one. I mean, you thought if everything went right, they'd win, 81, 85 games. They won 84. But then to march through the postseason like they did, they could have easily played Philadelphia Phillies the first round, and who knows what would have happened then if they had won their last game against Houston. So, but yeah, them beating the Phillies, particularly the last two in Philadelphia, that was shocking.
How much of this is Bochy? I mean, can we? I always think managers are overrated in this game. When you compare it to other sports. It's not an X's and O's thing like it is in basketball or hockey or football and what plays you're calling. I mean, I know Bochy's going to get a ton of credit here, but, I mean, like you said, they did spend a lot of money the last 2 years putting this roster together, but all of a sudden Bochy comes in and it clicks. Tell me why.
Just that calming influence, and just he walks in a room, he commands respect. For a guy that's won 3 World Series rings, never had the best team in San Francisco, but they always they had 3 parades, and but yeah, just the way he is, the way he handles these things. Bullpen was imploding. They had all kinds of injuries. They looked like they were done early September, and he kept calming everybody down and said, "We'll be fine. We'll be fine." And and here they are. Not a fluke by any means.
Is it the most look, you've covered the game, at least 20 years I've been talking to you. I mean, is it the most unlikely World Series matchup that you could remember?
Yeah, maybe now you say that, Jason. I mean, there's always been some stunning World Series winners, everything else. But yeah, just teams don't come back like that from losing over 100 games. And we've seen it. We've seen it a lot more often in recent years. Maybe I got to think. I don't know about the Rangers in San Francisco in 2010. That's a possibility. But yeah, you got to go back and spend some time thinking about it. Probably when I think about it now, might go 91. Minnesota Twins, Atlanta. Both were last place teams the year before. So I'll go back in 91.
I like that. See, I was wondering if there was one you could dredge up, and I give you credit. You were able to do it. What's the lesson for other teams in baseball? Is it, and I guess for baseball as a whole, because look, obviously the wild card is a huge product of this. The fact that if you just get in now, I mean, Diamondbacks were leaking oil coming down the stretch. They barely get in. And here they are in the World Series with a damn good chance to win. The Rangers lose the division lead last day of the season. What's the lesson for the rest of baseball?
Well, I think it's for GMs to say, don't give up at the trade deadline. We saw Cleveland was a game and a half out. They say, well, maybe we make the playoffs, but we won't go anywhere in October. Well, look what happens. St. Baltimore said the same thing a year ago. Cincinnati said the same thing this year. It's like, just get in and, and take your chances. I mean, really, Diamondbacks went in with 2 starters, and a rookie and Brandon Pfaadt. But, who thought that, 2 starters and a leaky bullpen would get them through this? And they've been stellar. You just never know come October. Some of the biggest stars go belly up, and some of the guys, that are nobody talks about are the stars.
Boy, how good is Corbin Carroll? I mean, you talk about the glue that sort of holds this Diamondbacks team together from an on-the-field standpoint, and Corbin Carroll's a special talent.
Yeah, and the Phillies shut him down until the last two games. Is amazing. Phillies shut down Christian Walker, Tommy Pham, Evan Longoria, and they still lost. So yeah, this guy's gonna be he'll be a perennial all-star. He's playing too with a bad shoulder. So, you can see by his throwing that it's off. So I would be surprised if he has a little shoulder cleanup in the off season. But yeah, I mean he's they spent $111 million locking him up this spring. Best money they've ever spent.
Yeah, it certainly is. Break down the game one matchup with Gallen and Eovaldi going head to head, and what do you see as a whole in this series?
Well, you like Eovaldi. I mean, he just been there, but he's 4-0 in this postseason. When pitch the clinching games and division series, the wild card series, game 6 of the LCS. Gallen has scuffled. He's thrown almost 50 more innings than he ever has. 7.36 ERA in the NLCS. So you got like Eovaldi. He likes these things. I think it'll be a great series. I think it'll go 7 games. On paper, Texas should win. But something about the Diamondbacks are just keep stepping up at the right time. Paper tells you it's going to be the Rangers. Heart tells you it's going to be Diamondbacks. So it should be fun. Nothing's been according to plan this entire postseason. So why start now?
Yeah, the Rangers are the favorite at -174. Diamondbacks at +148 going into the series. When I look at these two teams and the way they go about it, and you mentioned it, the D-backs are scrappy. They'll beat you 4-3, they'll beat you 3-2, and the Rangers are a team. They want to win 10-6, they want to win 9-5. And for so many years we used to say good pitching is going to beat good hitting. This Rangers team seems to buck that trend.
Yeah, I mean, the bullpen is stepping up. I was telling Will Smith yesterday, it's his third straight World Series. But, in Atlanta in 2021, their bullpen was really bad, going down the stretch. And then they tighten it up in the postseason. And that's what this Rangers bullpen is doing. Same with the Diamondbacks. They didn't pitch like this during the regular season. They're all saying, would have won 95 games, not, 84. So, yeah, it's guys are stepping up. At the right time here. But yeah, I think that the Diamondbacks being here is a much bigger surprise than Texas.
Aroldis Chapman is good for one blow up in this World Series, right? You do know that, right?
Yeah, I kept saying about Philadelphia and proved true with Craig Kimbrell. So, he could easily blow it up. But you know what? The Diamondbacks people say they're crossing their fingers every time the late innings as well. That they're due. They can't be pitching this well.
We talk about Bruce Bochy, and Torey Lovello deserves obviously so much credit for getting this team into this position, and he seems to use the motivation of naysayers, the Chris Russos of the world, to sort of inspire his guys, get them pumped up, and he's done that. What is it about Torey Lovello? When we think about all the guys that got opportunities around baseball, what is it about Lovello that makes his style work with this group?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, he was, so close to getting fired after the last 110 games. He was surprised he wasn't fired. If it wasn't for his friendship with Mike Hazen, he would have been. They just gave him a 1-year contract. So, okay, let's see what happens. They're a better team last year. Another 1-year contract. It just kind of blends in with these guys, fits with them. A guy, no one giving him anything. No one's giving him any credit. And now all of a sudden he says, okay, I'll show you what I can do. And he gives a lot of credit to Jeff Bannister, saying without Jeff Bannister as his bench coach, they wouldn't be in this position.
Who's the one player that America has not seen a lot of that they're gonna kind of fall in love with in this series?
It could be the kid for Texas, Evan Carter. Was in high school a couple of years ago when he got drafted in the second round. Everybody was shocked, like, who is this kid? It wasn't even on anybody's draft boards, the top 500. So I would think America loves the young guys. So there'll be Corbin Carroll, there'll be Evan Carter. Heim. But those guys are there's a lot of good young players in the World Series. So I think people will take notice, like, okay, who are these guys?
Well, and Aroldis Garcia is certainly fun to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing that here's the Cardinals. They dump them. Texas gets them. They designate him for assignment. So I mean, all 30 teams could have had this guy several times, and everybody kept passing. Now look at him.
Amazing. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who wins? How many games?
I'll go. I'll stick with my prediction of Diamondbacks in 7, just because it doesn't make sense, but nothing's made sense so far. But I wouldn't. I mean, how can you go against Bruce Bochy? The Rangers are a powerful team. So, hey, if I was going to Vegas, they said, hey, here's $1 million you're going to pick. I put my money on Bruce Bochy and the Rangers.
Good stuff. That sounds like a hedge to me, Bob. That sounds like a hedge. I'm just saying. Hey,
I put the Diamondbacks in the papers. It doesn't make sense. So you, Jason, I'll cover myself and I'll pick the Rangers.
Love you, Bob. Have fun out there at the World Series, man. It should be a lot of fun.
All right, take care.
Bob Nightengale joining us on the show. All right, stick around. Sam Yarnell is right around the corner. Page versus the Prince. Our Thursday Night Football recap as well. It's the Sports Wrap on a Friday. Lots to get to. Don't go anywhere. All I want to do is zoom, 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 and boom, boom.
Yeah, I'm here. My bad.
All right.
What's going on?
Nothing.
There we go.
There you are. What's on your sleeve?
Oh, it's a thing. It's where I got this shirt. It's from a tennis tournament they have in DC every year.
Oh, cool. All right. So we're going to do 10 minutes on Thursday Night Football. I'm also going to ask for your World Series prediction here coming out of that interview. So I'll ask you about that.
they were. And you can't predict the NFL. It's so much different of a league even this year than it was last year. And that park the bus mentality that McDermott's using is really showing in letting these bad teams back into games late. I'm still worried about the Bills. They didn't sell me all the way down the river last night. And I'm not sure I'm even ready to consider them a Super Bowl contender again.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either. I just realized something, by the way. You're going to hate me. I realized Mike wasn't on until about 10 seconds ago. That was me. I'm the problem. Right. It's me. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to recap for everybody what we just said. On the World Series, first of all, your thoughts on what Bob Nightengale had to say. Who do you like for the World Series? How many games? And we'll go from there.
As the listeners know, I like our guy Nightengale. Known gardener, like to hedge quite a bit.
He did hedge.
That said, I like the Diamondbacks in 7, as you do and as Bob does. And we can get that bet right now, Jason, at almost 6-1, plus 570 on the FanDuel Sportsbook, the unofficial sportsbook of the SportsWrap. But I love the Diamondbacks in 7. The Rangers are going to fight in this series, but you got to go with the feel-good story here.
You do. And I'm with you. I think you and I are going together on this. Diamondbacks in 7. I would agree with you. Everything says the Rangers should win the series, except for the fact that nobody had either of these two teams in the World Series to begin with. So I throw all the conventional wisdom out the window. Both of them have proven they can win on the road in big spots. I agree with you. I like the Diamondbacks in 7. All right, shift gears. Thursday Night Football. Give me your thoughts on what you saw out of Josh Allen last night in a Bills win. I don't care what the final score is. Win ugly, just win. This Buccaneers team has been scrappy all year. It's a good win for Buffalo coming off the loss against the Patriots. Particularly, I love Josh Allen running the football and running it effectively and efficiently. Somebody had a sign up in the crowd that said, "Run, Josh, run," and they scratched out the forest from Forrest Gump. I thought that was brilliant. And Josh Allen did some nice things last night.
He did. And we kind of knew coming into this game, and I think I talked about it on the show yesterday, for the Bills to win, to get back to that explosive offense that we know they can have, they had to get Josh Allen in motion, not only running the ball, but also just out of the pocket and spreading the field. I'm not as sold on the Bills from this win. Yeah, a win is a win, but it wasn't a good win. It was a very Sean McDermott win, in that the Bills got out ahead early and did the timeless Sean McDermott strategy of parking the bus late, trying to score 49 points in the first quarter and play nothing but defense for the other 3. And it's not sustainable. And showing this season, especially in the day and age of the NFL in 2023, where scoring is at such a premium this year, and the spreads are when you have a big spread, it's almost an automatic to take the underdog because of how many close games that we're seeing. That's in evenly matched games, right? That said, I'm not ready to call the Bills a Super Bowl contender again yet, Jason.
No,
I'm not. They haven't proven it enough to me. They got to get that offense actually humming. It looked good for certain points yesterday, but there was no point where I felt like the entire team, which is led by the offense, was actually rolling along and humming. It would be a shutdown, get the ball back, score, like that famous perfect game against the Patriots in the playoffs. That was peak Bills, and I don't know if we're going to get back to that.
And by the way, they were up 24-10. I called over to my husband. I said, "Hey, let's go walk downtown at the street fair. This game's over." Then all of a sudden, I looked at my phone with about 3 minutes left. It's 24-18. I had to walk over to the side of the road, turn on the game again, and watch the final few minutes just in case something crazy happened. And as Josh Allen said, you never want it to come down to a Hail Mary when you're only up 6 in the final seconds. Still, it's a win. We're finding out that the Buccaneers are starting to sort of revert to what we thought they would be before the season started, a mediocre or less than mediocre team. You get the final thought.
I just wanted to say, I hope Jerry in Louisville, Texas tailed. I hope Dave in Connecticut tailed, because we gave out Dalton Kincaid anytime touchdown yesterday on the show at plus 220. I'll meet you 2 at the window.
I also gave out take the Bucks plus 9.5. We got Bucks plus 9.5. All right, we're going to do Page versus the Prince. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up in just moments here on the Sports Wrap. I want to scream right now.
Oh, can't hear you.
Yes, you saw it correct. It's Friday, and that means it's Page versus the Prince. The battle for prognostication supremacy is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Say no more. It's time for Page versus the Prince.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for the weekly face-off for sports betting bragging rights. It's Page versus the Prince on the cash-in.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Yarnell, the Prince of Picks, 2-2 last week. I was 0-4 after back-to-back 3-1 weeks. Yeah. All right, Sam. Have at it.
All right. Leading things off, as I'm so accustomed to doing. We'll start things off a mile high, Jason. And no, I'm not betting on the Denver Broncos. It's the Kansas City Chiefs laying 7.5 points. Oh my goodness, what an amazing spot for the Kansas City Chiefs. Divisional game in Denver against a team in the Broncos that we still don't know what they are. In week 8, they look like a team that might be worse than the team that they put on the field last year. I love the Chiefs in this spot. Think they're going to beat the Broncos by 10 probably, because I think the Broncos get a late score. No matter what, they'll cover the 7.5 easily. It's Kansas City minus 7.5 for my first Prince's play this week. All right, next, we're going to go to Nashville. Smashville, as they say. Quarterback controversy for the Titans this week. Looks like Tannehill's injured, and Levis and Malik Willis are going to take snaps for the Titans. It's the battle of the Isses in the backfield for Tennessee. That means we're going to lay the 2.5 with Atlanta. I think worst case scenario, this game's tied late and Atlanta kicks a field goal to win it. We're under the key number of 3, so let's lay the 2.5 with the Falcons on the road. I think this is a low-scoring game, too. You could look at the under, but it's a very, very low number in this game.
In Coup we trust!
Either way, Art Smith gets it done in Nashville. Falcons over the Titans by at least 2.5. All right, my third pick is a very interesting one. The Saints and the Colts, this is the weirdest game of the week to me. And normally when you have a game this weird, you stay as humanly far away from it as possible. That said, I come on this show every Monday and talk about how Gardner Minshew is just enough to get it done in Indianapolis while Anthony Richardson's gone. He's nothing more, but he's sure as heck nothing less than exactly what they need right now. For that reason, I'm going to take the Colts plus the point at home as a home dog against the Saints. Derek Carr has not looked good for 4 straight weeks. He looks almost incompetent at this point in his career. And Jason and I talk all the time about how the Saints are in the worst position in the NFL when you look at franchises and their road the next 5 years. The Saints are absolutely screwed, and they're not going to win this game on the road in Indianapolis. Give me the Colts plus 1 as a home dog this weekend, and we'll finish with my only total that I'm going to play this weekend. It's the Texans and Panthers in the battle of rookie first-round quarterbacks going over 43.5. We're giving up the key number of 43 here, but let's not forget the Texans are coming off of a bye in this game. They've had an extra week to plan against a Carolina Panthers team that hasn't looked good on either side of the ball. As a matter of fact, it might be time to call Bryce Young a bust. Adam Thielen is the only good-looking thing in a Carolina uniform so far this season. That said, I think both teams score a lot in this game. CJ Stroud may push this game over the total itself, but we're going to go over 43.5 in Texans-Panthers. So again, my 4 to recap. Kansas City laying 7.5 in Denver. Atlanta laying 2.5 in Nashville against the Titans. The Colts getting a point as a home dog against the Saints. And finally, the Texans and Panthers, the battle of the first round quarterbacks, going over 43.5. Those are my Prince's picks this Friday, Jason.
Wow, we're actually going toe-to-toe in one of our picks this week. Because I like the under in Texans-Panthers. You think the Panthers are going to score? And we know the Texans don't score a ton. I mean, to me, that's one of the easier picks of the week. It's actually the first one I had listed. Under 43.5. I disagree with you. So we will be meeting at the window, and one of us will be winning. Jets and Giants. Look, this is easy for me. I think this is also, I am not typically an under guy because rooting for unders is like we've said before, it's rooting for divorce when you go to the wedding. And 36.5 to me, they could probably make this 34.5, and I don't even know if it'll get there. 24-10, 20-10, none of that seems like it's out of the realm of possibility. 16-10, 17-10. By the way, the 10 being the Jets, I do think the Giants win the game. But the under is the safe pick to me, 36.5. Take those Giants, Big Blue, feeling inspired coming off the win last week. I think they get another one this week, regardless of who is playing quarterback. Chiefs and Broncos, 47.5. To me, it's a perfect spot for the under. I mean, we know what the Broncos have been this year. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best defenses in all of football. The Chiefs on the road in a big spot, divisional matchup. I love Kansas City in this spot, under 47.5. Last one, Ravens and Cardinals. Ravens and Cardinals. I actually think there's a letdown coming here for Baltimore off the win last week against the Lions. Traveling across the country to Arizona. Cardinals kind of fighting, scuffling. 9.5. I'm a big fan of home dogs. I think the game is close. Does Baltimore win? Probably. Could I see them winning by a 7? Yeah, I could see them winning by 7. See them winning by 6. I'd be shocked if they won by double digits on the road in this spot. It's tough to win in the NFL. We have found this out week in and week out. I think you get a letdown from the Ravens this week. I like the Cardinals plus 9.5. To recap, the Texans and Panthers under 43.5, not over, Sam Yarnell. The Jets and Giants under 36.5. It's underdog. Chiefs and Broncos under 47.5. And my one line that I like, the Cardinals plus 9.5. Page versus the Prince, week 8 in the NFL.
Add Jets -3 to my card. Love it. Love it.
Okay.
No way the Giants score against that Jets defense. With Tyrod Taylor at quarterback? No way. Jets -3.
Book it, he says. That is Sam Yarnell. Have yourself a fun weekend, sir. We'll see you on Monday.
Talking lots of winners on Monday, Jason. Can't wait.
I like it. Sam Yarnell, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Quick timeout. We'll come back. We've got some LeBron homage to pay following the Lakers' first win of the season. LeBron and the Lakers beat the Suns last night. Yeah, the Suns didn't have Booker and Beal. I don't care. Pay homage to LeBron. We'll do it next. Welcome you back on this Friday edition of the Sports Wrap. And to finish out the week, I wanted to just pay homage for a second to LeBron James. I don't know how many people stayed up late last night and watched the Lakers beat the Suns. And yes, it was the Suns without Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. And we could talk all we want about, who played in this game and who didn't play in this game. But I think far too often, and these days in sports, so much of what we talk about is focused around the negative. So much of what we talk about is focused around the stories outside the game. Whether it's live golf versus the PGA Tour, whether it's, the stick tape that's allowed on hockey players. Whether it's the eccentricities of baseball instead of the actual on-the-field action itself. Whatever it may be. But when I watch LeBron James, 20-plus seasons into his NBA career, do the sorts of things we watched him do last night, late in this game for the Lakers, to will them to a victory they otherwise would not have gotten. Say what you want about Anthony Davis. Say what you want about Kevin Durant. Say what you want about any player in the league. None of them will be doing it at the level that LeBron James is doing it, at the depths of his career in which he is doing it, at 20-plus years in the league. Think about the ability to be the most dominant player on a basketball court at 20-plus years in your league. I got news for you, folks. We've never seen it. It doesn't happen. Guys don't do this. Players don't have the ability at 20-plus years in their career to be able to do the things that LeBron James is doing at the start of this season. There have been guys that have played a long time. I think of Kevin Willis, Moses Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all these guys that played for a long time. But what were they at the end of their careers? They were shells of the players we knew them as. Michael Jordan didn't even approach this sort of longevity in his career. Think of all the postseason games that LeBron James has played. Think of all the countless games this guy's played beyond the 82-game regular season schedule. And yeah, I know guys get nights off here and there, and there's rest and all of this. He's the greatest scorer in the history of the league in terms of points scored. He's got all the rings you could possibly want. Yes, he has his finals losses. Yeah, he's had his shortcomings and moments. And he's probably, at the end of all of this, the second best player to ever play the game of basketball. Now think about that. Soak that up for a second. The second best ever. And there will be people that take pride in the fact that MJ's number one. Guys who want to protect the legacy. Guys who will want to protect their heroes, their idols, that will stand up and say, yeah, but he's not number one. If his career ends with the number of titles he has now, the MVPs he has now, and you do want to make him the second best of all time, and he doesn't get to number one, that's still pretty damn good. That's still a pretty astonishing career. And my point is, you should savor every second of it. The Lakers will be on TV a ton this year because they're the Lakers and because they have LeBron James. Take in those moments because this could be it for LeBron. There's no guarantees now. He's a season-to-season guy. And some of it's predicated on what happens with Bronny, and some people have even joked about maybe he wants to hang around and wait to play with Bryce. I don't think that'll happen. But soak in what you're watching with LeBron James. Because The countdown is on, whether it's another 80 regular season games and potentially postseason games, whether it's 80 games plus another regular season. We don't really know at this point. But what we do know is we are in the presence of greatness. We are in the presence of a once in every 2 or 3 generation sort of start. There may never be another like LeBron James, somebody who plays this late into their career and is still this dominant. Enjoy it. Appreciate it. Soak it in. We pay homage. And that's how we wrap up this Friday edition of the Sports Wrap. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, do so now. It's available on all your favorite podcasting platforms. If you're not watching the show, well, shame on you. This is the final live show we will be doing in the noon slot. We will be moving to 3 p.m. Eastern Monday through Friday. 3 p.m. Eastern Monday through Friday, beginning on Monday. Noon Pacific. That begins on Monday. Thank you to our guest, Bob Nightengale, for hanging out with us. USA Today does a great job on Major League Baseball. Check out his work there. Sam Yarnell, the Prince of Picks. I love him. He may not be as good as me as picking games, but we still love him nonetheless. We'll see him back here on Monday. We'll see you back here on Monday. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. I'm Jason Page. That's the Sports Wrap on this Friday. See ya.